Greeting from BB Korla Institute of Health Sciences, Dharan, Nepal. Today I am here to describe how to write a good abstract. We know that this is the last part to be written, but the read first, just like a trailer of a film. So you must hit first and hit hard by using a good abstract. The At times, most of journals they have a publication of the abstract ahead of the print, and it is to be bear in mind that probably this is the only accessible content to a reader, especially for a paid journal. That's why we must have a great impression at the first instance by using good abstract. There is descriptive abstract is just like a summary of incident or a newspaper or book review like that. But most of the writings is a scientific one. That is a scientific writing is an informative one that is for use for many of the scientific platforms. And I should say that writing abstract is a scientific art to make it sellable for various audience, like from readers, the scientists, the reviewers, the journal editors, and so on. And for various platforms, like from the conferences, from the theses, dissertations, and abstract of various type of study publications. You must follow some guidelines like in the form of format, spelling, the grammar, the language, etc. In a language, bear in mind that you have to use either the American language or a British English, but you cannot use both of them. The abstract may be a structured one in the form of introduction, material methods, result, and conclusion. Conventionally, there is something like IMRAD format, but I don't believe that the discussion is a part of the abstract. It may be an unstructured one, and you may have to follow certain checklist as given by the consort guideline while writing an abstract, especially if you are writing an abstract for a randomized style. There must be approval from all the authors without no conflict of interest. There must be some word limit or character limit. In online submission platform, there is an auto function for word limit. You must not include any tables, figures, or chart, but at times on some of the platforms, they may allow these at a certain cost of word deduction. You must use certain the abbreviation that are standard only. There must be no references, videos, plagiarism, no links, and the abstract must be blinded in its body except the title and author affiliation. So that is the first thing to be read. So it must be a catching and interesting one. It's a brief but still concise, and it must be a valid one because most of the times you have taken a sample from one of the hospital or certain part of the country, but the title may says from Nepal, from India, from Eastern Nepal, from Northern India, like that. So these are invalid titles. The titles must be follow a PICOT format like PICOT. That is population, intervention, comparison, outcome, T for time frame, and S for the study type, or maybe in a question format. Making a title concise, crisp, and standard makes it available and searchable, especially during the systematic review and meta-analysis. And there must be all author and co-author have satisfied ICMJ criteria, and there must be proper affiliation. In this case, the patients of tibial fracture, it is the population, treatment is the intervention, solid nail and hollow nail is the comparison, and the functional outcome is the outcome, and it says randomized trial as a study design. Now, if the core of the articles are from multiple departments, you have to specifically mention all of them, either superscript or that one. And if they are from multiple institutes, especially if in a multi-center trial, you must mention all of the affiliation correspondingly. So in the introduction part, you must make an attempt to show it that your study is a feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. And you must show the lacunae in the current literature, what has been done and what has not been studied so far. If you are using some newer methods or principles, you have to pre-describe them as well. You must mention what is the rationale of your study. Like in this example, they have said that there is this probably the first randomized trial in this study, so this may be a part of a rationale of the study. So aims and objective is not a separate part, but it may be combined with the introduction or a background. You have to show what you want to prove or disprove or achieve in this section. If there are any study hypotheses, you have to mention them. Most of the times, there is a confusion between hypothesis and aims and objective. If you read this, the background carefully, they say that the ability to squat and squat with the mobility of certain joints And the qualitative squatting is a proxy reflection of functional outcome. So this is a hypothesis given by the authors. So based on this hypothesis, the aim was to determine the inter-observer and inter-observer reliability and the sensitivity, specificity of square-and-smile test. So this forms the aims and objective of the study. In a method and method section, you have to specifically answer a few broad questions like where the study was done. It's a single university-based IPM center. When the study was done or study period, in 1 year it says, then what is the pilot study or type of interim analysis or what type of study was it, you have to mention. So it says that study and study of prospectively collect data. Next is who is the person doing intervention and what is the learning curve, and who are the study subject, whose or whom patient has been studied. So this is basically the inclusion exclusion criteria as given in this article, the abstract. So next is how many patients were recruited, how they are allocated, allocation was done, and how many study samples were there. You have to mention in the method section. And the other important aspect is what was the assessment tool used, whether it is a free available or a copyrighted one. And it is standardized or not. It means with respect to validity, reliability. So he said this done by independent blind observers, and they have done repeat observation at 1 month. You should not assess a fish by climbing a tree. Okay, in the methods, you must mention whether the study has been local or national or international approval, what statistical methods has been used, and if there are some outliers, what you have done for those controlling of the outliers. In the results section, you have to give the clinical demographics of your study, either in lost to follow-up, how many were lost to follow-up, at what time, and what was done to control them. What was the outcome? Was it a specific? What space tool are used? And when the outcome was assessed. In addition to that, all the findings have proper units, there is p-value and the confidence interval. So these are all the findings has been given with their respective p-values. And everybody has a habit of ignoring the complications, but it is not a wise idea. No matter whether it is good or bad, all the important outcomes has to be mentioned in the results section. Like this says there are 2 cases of and 4 cases open reduction, there are some implant failure, there is infection, like that. In the results section, you are not supposed to repeat from any of the portions starting from the introduction and method methods like that. But you should not include discussion in your result. However, the result must be in accordance with the aims and objectives and the methods. In the conclusion section, it is probably the second or last part to be read from an article. So you have to make 1 or 2 crispy, sweet, and strong sentences in a take-home message form. The conclusion must be in line with the title and hypothesis, and it should be supported by the result. You can have some comments on the conclusion section as well. Now, last section is the keywords. You have to have 3 to 5 keywords from a medical subject headings that makes your keywords and whole abstract to make it visible and sellable in the market of the wide literature. So these are a few keywords like you have to mention. Okay, thank you for your hearing.